Hey, so last time on my last artist segment, I dove into the idea of confidence as an artist and my struggles with it. Even though I am a professional artist, this is what I do for a living. And I have years of experience and success to look back upon, yet I still find that I have this wavering issue with confidence. Sometimes I just doubt myself, and a lot of that has to do with who I am internally, and I think that that's okay. And so I shared a little bit about that, but I did have a follow-up question from somebody where they asked if I thought that lacking confidence in your work devalued it. And I don't think so at all. I think that it's a case by case basis, but overall, no. I think that many of the greatest artists throughout history, known and unknown, have dealt with periods of doubting themselves. I think that doubt is a very natural human thing. We are imperfect beings. And if we're honest with ourselves, we all have these insecurities, whatever they may be. But I think that all of us have these doubts of, will we live up to this? Or can I be this good? Or what am I truly capable of? And if you don't have, are you really dealing with or diving into introspection? Are you really pushing yourself to be your best? I think that if you have never ever doubted yourself, I'm not going to criticize you for that. All power to you for that. So tell me what you're doing. Tell me what you're eating. I want to know. But I am somebody that even with my successes, and sometimes even when I have success, that's the times that sometimes it hits me the most. The criticism or the self-critical analysis of my worth and my value, because that's what came about with the talk yesterday. Was it was on the ride back from successfully installing a large project that took a lot of time, a lot of work, that the collector was extremely happy with, beyond pleased. Glowing reviews, glowing response, said that I went above and beyond. And so it's interesting when I look back on that and evaluate that and say, well, why at that time was I doubting myself? And it was just questioning my overall value. And art's a funny thing because of the fact that there are artists, very talented artists, that are not really diving into their craft or diving into themselves. And there are artists that are doing it, but doing it kind of as a hobby or a little bit here and there, maybe selling it for 20 bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks. Then you have artists doing stuff that are a little bit further along the professional path of maybe doing events, doing shows, selling stuff for $1,000, couple $1,000. And then you have the next tier artists doing stuff for 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. Then you have artists that are the marquee artists, that are the stamp approved artists in contemporary culture, that are selling statues of what was it? The Italian artist that sold the statue made of, what was it, dreams and aspirations or something along the lines of that for $18,000. And then the artist that sold the banana for $120,000. So I'm curious. I would love to ask those artists, have you ever doubted your value as an artist? It would just be interesting to hear what they have to say about that. And it'd be particularly interesting if they were honest about it. So I think that's one of the things we have to remember, is that sometimes when we ask people things, they're not always honest about it. But that's one of the things that I love about being an artist, and I talked about that earlier today, was that I think that the thing that I can offer of value is my honesty. So when I post stuff, when I share my work, I'm not always sharing the glamour moments or the trophies or the prizes or like, hey, I'm so great. A lot of times I'm sharing the struggles of the journey, because I think that that is something of tremendous value, because not a lot of people like to share that. And I think that that is more relatable and something that a lot of people are dealing with. So I think that that holds tremendous value for encouraging and helping other people on their journey. And I think that that part of being an artist, of helping others and being a bridge, as opposed to trying to create a gap and trying to be the artist that's up here and remove myself from everybody else, I think that there's more value to being the person that helps lift people and pulls people into the boat, rather than pushing them out and pushing them under the water. And so, no, I don't think that questioning your value diminishes the value of your art whatsoever. Because even if you look at it from an aesthetic point of view purely, or the fundamentals of the work, your questioning of your own work doesn't change anything about the actual piece. And that ties back to the project that I just did. My reflection upon the work and who I am and what I have done encompassing my entire career doesn't change the quality of the product. And I use the term product loosely, of the artwork that was created and installed for this person that they were tremendously pleased with, that will be with them for many years to come, if not forever, and passed down, hopefully, through generations. So that's my personal perspective of it. I think that value is a funny thing. A lot of times we think of value in terms of money. And so I can see in that context where I think that in a buyer's market, if we're talking about marketing strategies and selling, that if you're somebody that doubts your work and somebody that is a collector sees that, they may not quite feel the comfort in buying your work, or quite that level. So maybe in that case, the work isn't sold for the premier price point. So maybe if you have this hubris, this excessive confidence or bravado about you, and you present it as such, maybe you are able to sell something at a higher price point. But I don't think that it impacts the overall value of the work. And in fact, I again contend that, in my humble opinion, it's the opposite. That I think that the artist that is vulnerable and honest with their insecurities and that, the artists, the musicians that I've always connected to are not the ones that are talking about how great they are. It's the ones that share the struggles and the pain and the triumphs of overcoming those struggles and their constant battles with those things. So again, I think it comes down to our perception of value and the context in which we're viewing it. But I am curious what other people think. If you think that doubting your work and doubting yourself decreases your value. But say an athlete, for example, say you have this athlete that is breaking certain records, or achieve something, world record, and they doubted themselves, but they did it. They hit this benchmark. Well, why would they be any lesser because of that? But then you look at let's say, for example, like a Conor McGregor, somebody that has this air of confidence about it. Are they more valuable because of that? Maybe they're more of a hot seller. Maybe they're a bigger ticket. But I think that goes more to other things, and people having it factors and things like that, intangibles and whatnot. But I think that you can have those intangibles by being somebody that is reflective and introspective and that does doubt yourself at the same time, because I think there's something very human and relatable about that. And what is art about? Art is about sharing stories. It's about connecting. It's about bringing people together. And I think that vulnerability and honesty are the things that do that. So I think that it is very natural and normal to have doubts in your work. And I think that it's far more common than maybe has been addressed for some of the most successful artists and people in history to have doubted themselves and to question their value. And I think that you cannot push yourself to be your best and truest self if you are not questioning your value. I don't think that questioning your value devalues you. It's just a questioning. It's an evaluation and a view of a spectrum so that you can perhaps increase your sense of self-value, which is something that I'm working on. And for me, it hasn't been a linear journey. It has been an ebbs and flows. There have been times where I've thought, wow, I'm pretty good at what I do. And there are times that I have had confidence and perhaps even a bit of hubris. And then there have been times where I have not seen the value of what I do and of my work. And it doesn't mean that it wasn't there, because the truth is that, say you create a painting in 2018, and at the time that you create it, you didn't have this sense of self-value within yourself. But later on, say 2021, you do. But you look back at that work, is that work now, with this separation of time, why would the value of the work change? Or does it fluctuate with your sense of value? So it's a funny thing, but I am curious for those of you out there to share your experiences, both about your sense of confidence and value of yourself as a person and as an artist, and how you feel it has impacted your worth as an artist or the value of your art. Are they synonymous? Are they integrated? Do they correlate? Or are they separate things? Or are they perhaps different things at different times? So those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed the art talk. Please check out my other talks and check out CariniArts.com for my shop, my blog, my podcast, and much more. But I want to know the things that you want to talk about. And if you let me know what you want to talk about, I will come on and we'll have some fun little art talks. And if it's just me and you, we'll go back and forth. If not, I'll continue putting things out there because, again, what is valuable to one person may not be the thing that's valuable to another. So even if I am on here speaking to nobody but myself, this is my period of reflection and introspection. But maybe even years from now, somebody sees this video and this is the thing that makes a difference for them. So again, going back to that idea of time and value. So something to ponder and think about. Have a great day, CariniArts.com.